back, YouTubers. I am Jason Worsma. That is Michael Stansford. This is Tankers Fantasy Football, and we are going to kick it off here. Start this new fantasy season talking about some top 25 running backs, PPR style, for this upcoming 2018 season. We're going to lead it off with Todd Gurley. I mean, oh my God. If this isn't the definition of how fucking shit-tastic Jeff Fisher is, I don't know what the fuck is.
It's the awakening, I think, is about the only way to put what he was able to do last year. It's amazing, frankly, just to watch him be the centerpiece, the focal point of that offense. Everybody, the fuss is all about Jared Goff and what McVay's doing in his helmet, pre-snap, this and that. I don't think, frankly, it matters when you have Sean McVay scheming the ball to Todd Gurley the way he is.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Man.
Jeff Fisher had us fucking convinced Todd Gurley was pedestrian. And then he comes out, Sean McVay, fucking, he's down with the new nuances of the football. He's not fucking out there running 913 dives and 124 traps like we used to back in 1997. But I mean, Gurley out there with Sean McVay, we're talking about over 25 PPR points
Crazy.
a game.
Crazy.
We're talking about 45 and 49 PPR in weeks 15 and 16. And he went out there and won fucking thousands of people their fantasy football leagues.
Absolutely.
Almost single-handedly.
Absolutely.
One game under 13 PPR points last year. I mean, oh my fucking God, 64 receptions. That's just over 4 receptions a game in the 15 games he played. And I mean, we are talking about sexy deluxe. Sean McVay has unchained the beast, and we're talking about 19 touchdowns on top of all that sex.
Get him the ball, and as much as you can hate on someone saying, he's a football player, just get him the ball. I mean, Todd Gurley is the sexy boy.
I mean, my God, and Jared Goff Goff's surroundings getting better is just going to help Gurley, because they can't put that 8 men down in the box if they got the likes of the speed demon Brandon Cooks on the outside and Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp look like they're coming to fucking form out there. And
defenses have to honor it.
I think we're all in. Rams are like a top 3 offense. Write it down. Moving into the season, you have to believe.
Have to, man. Have to.
Next guy we got for number 2, we are going Le'Veon Bell. And then, another training camp holdout or whatever is in the looms. And, if that happens, temper your expectations for the first couple weeks, because last year he didn't really do too much in the first couple of weeks because he was getting more in football shape out there. He didn't hit that 4 yards of carry until he came to Soldier. Bears got him a little bit right out there, though, baby.
Well, Bears, too, I think they offered that. They offered those games for a few people last year. Some get-right spots, if you will. But the thing about Le'Veon Bell, again, same with Gurley. I mean, he's on the field. He doesn't leave the field.
Ridiculous.
He is the focal point of that offense, in a sense. I mean, you have, of course, Antonio Brown, but years past, I mean, the Steelers, they scheme offense. It doesn't matter.
It's completely insane.
It doesn't matter.
Finally, guys, that's the end zone week 3 versus the Bears. Never look back. No games under 14 PPR points and only 2 below 19 for the fucking season.
I love
after weeks 1 and 2. Just went out there and just fucking lit the world on fire after week 3, baby.
I love the numbers. He's a guy year after year. I'm sure, a lot of people out there like to look at stats for guys on a season. He's somebody, year after year, you can look at his stats and just be amazed, frankly, at what he does.
I mean, the only thing, these yards per carry doesn't blow you away. He's right at like a flat 4. Okay. But in PPR, we're talking about 106 targets, turning that shit into 85 receptions in only 15 games. I mean, my fucking lord.
You gotta love just the opportunity.
That's fucking beyond belief sex
sees.
right there. We're going to give the number 3 nod to Ezekiel Elliott, just because I think he's going to be much more involved in this offense, including the passing game, because how many sexy boys they've lost down there, and Des Bryant and Jason Witten moving to the booth.
Absolutely has to be.
I mean, he did settle down. He had that 5.1 yards per carry his rookie year. Went out there, only got you 4.1 last season. But, I mean, he only had 1 PPR game under 14 points on the entire year, so that's fucking sexy deluxe.
If that's his floor.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 21, so just a shade under. Todd Gurley was 25 average, and Le'Veon Bell averaged 23. We got Elliott averaged 21 last year. But, I mean, you look at this guy, and you're talking, like I said the other video, if anybody's going to run for 2,000 yards, it's got to be him. I mean, the guy only had one game under 80 yards rushing last year.
which is
That's fucking insane.
Considering the state of that.
I mean, he missed
lot
6
larger.
games with a suspension. But of those 10 games he played, he only had one of them under 80 yards
It's
rushing.
a good caveat to point out there, but
I mean,
again,
my
you know,
goodness.
the fact of it is too, he's again just going to be the center point of that offense. I don't know that we can really expect Dak to do Dak things with that receiving core. It almost seems like the offense has to run through Zeke.
Number 4 here, we're going to break down David Johnson. David Johnson could easily hop the last 2 guys we just talked about out there, but I mean, this guy's talking already. You're talking he wants to have a 1,000 season out there. I mean, my goodness.
Gunning for it. He was talking about it last year, and I mean, wrist injury limits him to part of one game.
I mean,
you
wrists
know.
are tricky, but you gotta, that's not really affecting his running and catching
No,
abilities out there. So you gotta, I mean, if he can avoid the strange injury bug, I think
Right.
we are all in on a guy.
You got
I mean, the quarterback
You have
hasn't
to.
really gotten any
You
worse.
have
I mean,
to.
Sam Bradford and Josh Rosen aren't any. I mean, Carson Palmer was 1 foot in the grave. I mean, for his last couple of years.
the
So
other on a banana peel, and as we
Yeah.
pointed out in previous videos too, I mean, they've had the likes of John Skelton and
Yeah.
Drew Stanton at the helm. So
fucking Dick Chin Deluxe is out there slinging the rock. But I mean, we're looking at David Johnson can stay healthy. I mean, there's no reason why a guy like David Johnson couldn't finish as the number 1 PPR right now.
absolutely, It's
Five.
definitely there.
Since the PED suspension of Mark Ingram, we're going to go ahead and give the nod at 5 to Alvin Kamara, baby.
Take a trip down to the Big Easy. Let's see what Kamara can do. 13 total touchdowns last year. I mean, he's a great pass catching back, but he's also a guy that weighs, 220 pounds, 225, something like that. He can absolutely demolish people, run them over, run through them.
I mean, you're looking at this shit, and he's got 315 PPR points last year, and he only had 120 fucking carries. I mean, Jesus Christ, the guy was over 6 yards a carry out there. I mean, 120 carries equals 315 PPR points is out of this world. He had 100 targets, turned that into 81 receptions. He had over 10 yards per catch, and for a running back, that is sexy. I mean, that's more than Jarvis Landry had per catch. I mean, Jarvis Landry had like 109 catches for like 980 yards. So we're talking about like 9.5, 9.6 yards a catch for him. We're talking about over
I love it.
just that 10 yards a catch for Alvin Kamara. I mean, we're looking at sexy deluxe. I mean, if he is going to be getting that all that work in weeks 1 through 4, I mean, somehow like maybe Mark Ingram never regains his status, and we're looking at a guy who could just be a PPR fucking warlord out there.
Absolutely, there's definitely the potential for him to just cement himself as the lead back in that offense. Could be a thing of beauty. Let's see. I love watching him play football, man. He's special.
I mean, he started slow because he's a rookie. He had 7 and 8 points weeks 1 and 2 in PPR, but only had one game under 11.7 PPR, and that was the game he left early with the concussion or whatever he had going on.
Well,
out there.
and remember too, the first few weeks of that season with AP in that backfield too.
Yeah.
Sean Payton's trying to scheme touches for 3 guys, get AP out of there, get your 2 sexy boys involved, and now we're down to 1 sexy boy. He's kind of the perfect Sean Payton back too. I mean, he just does it all.
Number 6, we are going to give the nod to Kareem Hunt. We're going to give him the nod over guys like Fournette and the up-and-comer Saquon Barkley just because he's been there. He's done that for for a moment in time. We thought he was the next LaDainian Tomlinson. He was fucking out of his fucking mind. I mean, the guy still finished with 4.9 yards a carry last year, which is very impressive.
I mean, my God, just what he was able to just come out and do right away, so early, And granted, week 1 against the Pats, you could say is sort of an outlier for him. The Patriots are very soft against the run to start last year, but my God, just the fact that he's on the field making plays, man.
Oh yeah, I mean the guy had 11 total touchdowns. And he hit that wall there from weeks 8 through 13 where he only averaged 8 points PPR a game during that stretch, and that fucking really turned a lot of people off. But he got back up in that ass
in a hurry too
for the fantasy playoffs, and finished strong with a 23 a 40 and another 20-point performance in the weeks 14, 15, and 16. So he went out there and loved you sexy
Oh, he did.
for that playoff push if you didn't lose complete faith in him.
Man.
I mean, next thing, he started fucking, like I said, we thought he was the next Damian Tomlinson. This guy was averaging 32 PPR points a fucking game was weeks 1 through 3. We thought he might be, like, unstoppable force.
Madness.
Like, write this guy down for 30. It didn't end up being that way, you know. I mean, my goodness. It's something I have to return to the median a little bit. Man.
Right, absolutely. But, man, it's just like, this guy's got cheat codes. What is
was
he
insane.
doing? It was nuts to watch. He's so much fun. So much fun.
He had 53 receptions, over 300 fantasy points. Man, averaged 19 points a week on the season, even with that shitty fucking 5-week stretch, weeks 8 through 13. He still loved you sexy out there with very high running back 1 numbers. For 7, Leonard Fournette. I mean, you got to think he's the fucking everything that the Jaguars, are.
Absolutely. He's been exactly what they drafted him to be, in a workhorse back. Got a guy averaged 3.9 yards per carry last year, but how much of that is due to the workload he saw early in the season? You sort of saw him start to maybe break down a little bit. He had that reoccurring ankle injury throughout the latter
He
part
had
of
some
the
little bit of
season.
foot problems.
You know, and two, I think kind of nature of the beast with him. I mean, he's just a guy that just gets it in every time he's on the field, man.
Yeah, he did average a yard per carry less than Kareem Hunt. That's why we're giving him the rank a little bit lower here. He only had the 3.9 on the season. He had 10 touchdowns in the 13 games he played, which is a pretty fucking sexy number.
You're loving that, I think, if you spent a high pick on him.
I mean, if they're inside the 5, it's him or nothing, especially now that Allen Robinson's out of town.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. And I can't even, for the life of me, recall who they have behind him at the moment.
I mean, for a rookie, he didn't hit that hard wall except for the weeks he was injured for you like Kareem Hunt did. He only had 2 games in single digits, and he averaged 18 points on the season PPR, which is very sexy deluxe for a rookie running back.
Absolutely. I think, if you're going to spend a pick on a guy you know is going to get that workload, Fournette definitely has to be in consideration. And at least your top, I'd say 7 or 8 picks, kind of where we've got him right now.
I think it's time for the old Saquon. I think it's time for some Saquon.
I think, again, going with this kind of workload theme we're getting at with these top picks, I mean, he's a guy he's going to see those snaps early, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they aren't taking him out on 3rd down.
No.
Jay Stu might spell him for a series or 2 here and there just to give him a blow.
Right. Let him catch his breath.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, we're talking about a guy who'd go out there his rookie season and touch the ball over 300 times, including receptions.
I think anything less than 300 touches might be a bit of a disappointment. Just
I mean,
considering the hype behind him.
We're lowballing him at 250 carries and 50 receptions. I mean, he could easily break that action.
Absolutely.
You can't go in there thinking it's going to be 370.
No,
that's fucking next
That's
level.
taller. That's taller. They still have Eli
Giants
there.
offense are going to need to stay on the football field for that shit to fucking happen.
You still have Eli at the helm, so defenses to some extent are going to have to honor that passing attack.
They've tried to do a little work to that offensive line too, so that's helping them.
Absolutely. I think all the kind of chips are in the right spot for Saquon to definitely be worthy of a high draft pick in your fantasy league.
Melvin Gordon is up next. What we got? What is this? Was this 10?
I think
it's
we
10,
are
Steve.
at 9 or 10.
7, 8, 9. Yeah, we are at 9, I do
9.
believe. We were at 9. I'm fucking up 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever the fuck it is out there. But Melvin Gordon, he's kind of another guy that depends on his workload. I don't know. He's never really bringing sexy back for me, but the guy's never had a really great yard per carry.
No, he's somebody that definitely is valuable due to the amount of work he sees. 12 total touchdowns.
Yeah, 12 touchdowns. That's all you really need to know about his fucking look.
Caught less than 60 passes last year.
Which is still solid. What do you get, 58 of them?
58.
That's still pretty sexy.
And I just wonder, too, in an offense with Phillip Rivers, you've got Keenan Allen, we have Hunter Henry ascending into, hopefully, the stratosphere.
I mean, slip along the tight ends. You're looking at Gronk, Kelsey, and Ertz, and then tight ends is dark, man. You might be looking at old Hunter Henry there at the full banger, just to slip in a little tight end notes real quick.
little sidebar
I
there.
mean, there's those three dudes, and it's a bunch of fucking dick cheats fucking after that, babe. It's who you like the most because there is no guarantees
Lotto tickets.
after those three fellers.
Lotto tickets at best. Lotto tickets at best.
All right, we're going to go into Dalvin Cook. Even though he only got himself into a few games last year, I think 4 games he played in, but
Four total games he finished.
I mean, Jared McKinnon's out of town, so that's happening.
I do like that. I mean, part of it's kind of meh. I think we saw in the first part of last season, Dalvin Cook was the unquestioned guy in that backfield, and I believe that he led all running backs in yards from scrimmage at the time that he was injured, which is quite a feat.
Yeah, I mean, 4.8 yards per carry in those 4 games, 354 yards in those only 4 games. So we didn't even finish he didn't even finish that 4th game.
Right, and he looked so good. And one of the things about Cook, it might not get you sexy fantasy numbers, but the fact that he's on the field all the time, he's the man in pass protection. You gotta love a guy that's just out there playing football.
I mean, I gave him the nod over a guy like Shady McCoy, who we got here at 11. Because Shady McCoy's lost some pieces on that offensive line. He's moving into an area where it's A.J. McCarron or Josh Allen, eventually. So we don't really know what's going on with that. I mean, if he's on the field, you got to write him down for at least back-end RB1 production, which we did here with the 11.
You have to.
I mean, the guy, 4 yards a carry last year, the 8 touchdowns. This is where he gets it sexy. He's got just 65 receptions, only 2 games under the 10.3 PPR, and he averages a little over 17 points a game on the season. So that's fairly fucking sexy deluxe for you.
And too, with the fact that he loses those 2 O-linemen in this offseason, I think if those guys stay, there's no reason why we couldn't have had McCoy in our 8 spot.
Oh, yeah, he could have bumped up there a little bit.
Maybe even have him above.
And we're talking strictly redraft here.
Absolutely.
So, we're just talking about guys who getting you sexy, winning you money, winning you leagues. Right now, we don't give a fuck about next year when you're talking about redraft out there. No. Right. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to split it, go into a part 2 situation to kind of keep the videos under like a 20 fucking minute range out there. So we're going to hit you with one more. We're going to give you the top 12 in this first part 1. The last one, we're going to a Christian McCaffrey.
Whew.
I mean, the only reason why he's here is because we're talking about PPR.
Right. And seeing what he did last year, he is catching so many passes. We hope. He's catching so many passes. I'm not so much in love with what he did on the ground last year necessarily.
Yeah.
I think though you're talking hardcore PPR, he's definitely a worthy pick.
Yeah, I mean he only had like you said, not that sexy on the ground. We're talking 3.7 yards a carry, and we're only talking 2 rushing touchdowns on the year.
And two, with the caveat that going into the year that he's splitting time with C.J. Anderson.
I mean, C.J. Anderson, he's always had a little injury problems a little bit throughout his career.
Yeah.
But he is going to be getting a lot of that first and second down work. He is going to get his own series out there until maybe like a 3rd and long, and then they'll bring in Christian even on his series. But, I mean, yeah, only reason Christian's here, he only had, 4 games under 4 receptions. He had 80 receptions on the season.
You got to love that as a rookie.
I mean, he's another guy like Kamara that's only got like 120, 130 carries last season.
Just, was able to do the most with what he got in the passing game.
I mean, they seem to work. I mean, they do kind of weasel him in there inside the 5 for those little quickie receiving touchdowns, though. They do like to get him that going out there.
Dump off.
Because he did have the 2 rushing, but he had 7 total touchdowns. So he had 5 receiving touchdowns.
But you got to love at least the fact that opportunity's there for him. You're seeing it early. That's encouraging.
All right. We will be back at you with part 2. Hit that subscribe button, baby. Hit that little bell. Give yourself some notifications. Hit the share. I know you want to keep tankers to yourself out there, but tell your league mates about us, baby. We're trying to get them over. We're trying to go over. We're trying to get it sexy for you. Later. Cheeseburger.